students, which makes sense looking at my face. Because she keeps saying everything. Yes. Like, thanks.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I got you.
Your ex has some decorations up that Millie took note of.
Oh, look at the blow up dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur. It's like,
Yeah.
she's been trying
Okay,
to.
I'd like to bring
Or,
to
like,
order
any
the
of the-
Monday, December 9th meeting of the Bethlehem Public Library trustees. First order of business is public participation. No. We have any email? Or
No.
Nothing like that, okay. All righty,
Actually, you-
well, we'll come
I'm gonna
back.
check. I'm
Okay.
sorry. We'll check, just because I checked 5 minutes ago. I haven't.
All right, so we'll come back and ask for that again at the end. All right, so next order of business is review of the meeting minutes on pages 2 through 5. I'll take a motion to accept the previous meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? All those opposed, motion carries. Okay. Next is the financial report on pages 6 through 15.
Okay, so revenue really hasn't changed much from the prior month. We have received, something like, I don't have it in front of me, but something like 96% of tax revenues, and we will receive the remainder in the next few months. Expenses are on budget, compared to about 8% under budget at this time last year. That is due to several factors, including the timing of certain annual payments, such as the retirement contribution. This year we made the retirement contribution in December. Last year we didn't make it until January. So that's why it looks like there's a swing, but not really. It just, just for the month. Salaries are on budget because we're fully staffed. And I don't know if anybody has any specific questions about the reports. I do want to talk about investments, but, give you a chance to ask any questions you might have. No? Okay.
Questions?
The 6-month T-bill that we had came due at the end of November. Approximately $24,000 in interest earned will be posted in December. And we purchased another T-bill. We basically rolled over the value of that T-bill into another T-bill at 4.136%. And it will mature at the end of May. And at that point in time, it'll be worth 1.135 million. So if you remember, we initially invested probably a couple of years ago now, $1 million in a T-bill, and we've just 6-month T-bills, and we kept rolling them over. So that $1 million has grown to 1.135 million. That 135,000 is all earnings that we just keep reinvesting. So we've done pretty well with that. And the rates are still good. It's a little bit lower than the previous rate was 5%, but 4.13 is still a really good rate.
Okay, great. Thank you for the excellent work. Wonderful. Good news.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any other questions before we move on? No? All right, so we need a vote on the financial report. Take a motion. Gail, on a second. Caroline, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, personnel report on page 16.
If I scroll too fast, I'll shoot past it, so. I have only one action requested. We had a part-time circulation clerk who is leaving/retiring. And I want to replace her position, 9.8 hours a week. Same hours,
Okay,
so.
seems pretty straightforward. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so take a motion for this new position. Lisa, thank you. And a second.
I'll second it.
Sarah, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
We are zipping through this.
We are. Doing good.
I have to
Good.
say, I was like, oh, Michelle's chairing.
All right, director's report on page 17.
Hey, by the way, we're gonna have an election here, a vote on December 12th, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. here in the community room of the library on Thursday, December 12th. Just want to highlight that one last time in case there's someone out there who doesn't know. If you live in the Bethlehem School District, come by and see us on Thursday. I do want to thank all of you for the, a little hot on my mic here today. All of you for the office hours, because I've heard a lot of good things back from the public about that. I think making yourselves
Good.
accessible in the library is a really good idea. Sorry I couldn't be here for all of them, but I was happy to be here when I could be here. So it was great to see all of you here. Wonderful. So we will be, we're training our staff on a new museum pass. We have a digital museum pass. The company that was hosting our digital museum passes has ceased to exist. So as of December 31st, it will no longer be a thing. Luckily, we were already not satisfied with the level of service we were getting, so we are switching over to a different one. And so that is up. It's ready. We are testing with the staff to make sure that they're ready to administer that, and it will go live no later than January 1st, but it'll probably be before that. Luckily, lots of the museums are closed for the season, so it's kind of a little bit of a lull season for the museums. So it's, if it had to happen, it was better now than in the middle of the summer or in February break or something like that. So just a little bit of dip in circulation over December last year. And the biggest driver of that continues to be the DVDs. It's just, I can't give a movie away, you know, like we have a place for older movies, people who want to come into the library, but it's probably not going to come back. I do want to mention the Books to People, our delivery service, got a lovely note to Dorothy, who's our librarian, who administers that program. And it's kind of it's a low numbers program, but high impact program. And Dorothy is one of those unsung people, so I'm happy to be able to call her out with a special thank you. So she puts in a lot of work there. Lots of great programs, some letters about the Adult Summer Reading Challenge, which is fantastic, decent attendance at the Red Cross blood drive. We actually had an in-person author, which was nice. That doesn't happen to us all that often. Another Bethlehem Historical Association, or actually this one was Listen and Learn Friday, which used to be called Coffee and Conversations. That was a nice attendance of 77. And then a Bethlehem Historical Association about the hay press, which I didn't know anything about. And if you want to know more about hay presses, go check it out on our YouTube channel. You can see Jonathan Palmer talk all about the hay press. So this Yates program was a continuation, a month-long November program, saw a good and steady interest, and the spice sharing program continues to be popular. This is just, I put this picture here of this Starry Night. This was our passive program where people came in and put dots on the sheet. And of all the pictures that we've done like this one was unidentified the longest. So it was, usually you can kind of start to see what the picture is because they're famous pictures. This one, just the way it got filled in, this little bit at the top, we didn't see till quite almost to the end. Lots of great children's programs. Again, early literacy programs. November is a nice big month for those, for Tiny Tots, movement and music. You see the numbers on there, just awesome. So just some family story time pictures and music. Pause to read will be lots of outreach coming up. Oh, this is the pit and the Hammerground Elementary. We were there for some outreach, and then upcoming we'll be participating in the holiday parade Saturday, December 4th. And we'll be attending the first night program. Come on down to the Four Corners and see us down there. We'll be there from 5 p.m. until the fireworks go off, and then we pack up and head home. And then later on, I'll just mention here in my director's report that we had some concerning incidents with a particular patron. We'll be talking about that later on in the meeting. As far as statistics are concerned, we're humming right along, a little bit down. Oh, you got some questions for me? A little bit down in a few of the things. Again, you can see the the adult video drop of this 9.7%, which is over a fairly large collection. And then other than that, just regular November stuff. The door count, I will say, even though the circulation was down a little bit, door count continues to be higher which I like to see. So that means all those other uses, when I'm talking about, some of the other uses haven't come all the way back yet. These in-person things were starting to look a little bit more normal, which, always makes me happy. And again, continued strong increases in the ebook use.
I wanted to comment about the trustee office hours.
Yes.
Because I was here during the story hour time and it was really interesting. Something that jumped out at me was the grandparents who are talking to each other when they come here that might not see each other in other places. But also, we always had people who you knew English was not their first language. We had a lot of observant Muslims who had head coverings, and we had observant Jews. And guess what? They were all in children's area having fun together and talking to each other. And it made me feel really nice to see that the library was a place they could come together and be with each other and not be on opposing poles. It was very, being here during the office hours was really fun and really interesting.
Related to that, when Mark and I were here last Thursday, I think it was, and we had kind of a bunch of people come in, kind of one right after another. We did talk afterwards about whether office hours might be something that we could do going forward. Maybe not as often, but once or twice a month, as a way to give people an opportunity to come in. So if you have thoughts.
I wrote a note. Maybe we should host trustee office hours periodically as a thing we do.
There you go.
So.
That's a good idea.
And I would definitely stick for an hour or an hour and a half, that 2-hour evening. And we were just throwing it against the wall to see what stuck. 2 hours in the evening was long.
Yeah.
But I think if we tighten that up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's it. And then the NILA reports are always at the bottom. So if you didn't have time to read them before the meeting, they are there, and it's always a pleasure to read them. So all that's in there. Thank you again for allowing the library to send the staff to the New York Library Association conference. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it actually was a pleasure. I love reading those.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that the eagle made out of Abraham Lincoln's hair,
Mhm.
that had to have been something to see. And there were a couple of people have brought up the telehealth booth.
Yep.
That sounds like a great idea. As we move forward, that people could come here for, if it's telehealth or court reasons or whatever, to carve out a little space like that. That sounded like a really great idea.
It's good. And I think this happens now in the study rooms, and it also happens not in the study rooms, because if the study rooms are full, I'm coming into the board meeting tonight, there was a gentleman on the phone in the hallway, right? And that's not ideal, but where's that go in the space?
I think it'd be awesome if we had like one of those old timey telephone
Phone
booths that you go in. Anyhow, all right. Did anyone have any comments or questions about the director's report? No, okay. So the next item is the UHLS report. Lisa.
So December's a time that the board generally doesn't meet. We are hosting a holiday breakfast for the staff on Wednesday. And I think some people have heard, but maybe not everyone, that Tim Burke, the executive director, is retiring this coming April. So the board's going to be doing a search committee and trying to find a new executive director. Something fun to do. So,
How long has he been serving in that
You
position?
know-
Do you know?
It's,
I'm not sure.
20, I mean, he's gonna be mad at me now if he sees this, 2008.
Okay.
So I became director here in 2011, and he was the director there well before that. So sometime 2007, 2008 would be what I would guess. Gail, does that feel right?
Right, yeah.
Sometime in there,
Why?
if not 20 years, creeping in on 20
Okay.
years.
That's it.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. All right, next item is new business, a patron ban.
Yeah, so not one of my more pleasurable duties, but pass around the packet of the incident reports that we've had with an individual patron. And basically it started, I may have mentioned to the board in the past, a person who locked themselves in the family restroom as we were closing, and then refused to leave the library when asked. And then, the staff was here laid out and, late, and finally, they had to, was swearing at the staff people and then eventually left. So that was our first experience. And then reported to us by a parent that there were some children walking behind this individual and he swore at them, the kids, because they walked behind him when he was using the computer. And it was explained to him that that was inappropriate behavior, profanity, that sort of communication is not acceptable in the library, and particularly when directed at children. And then he argued back about his First Amendment rights to say what he wanted to say, and his Second Amendment rights to protect himself. So that was disturbing. And then finally, on November 13th, we had a staff person walk behind just on the way to their office and walk behind this individual. And the person said, "I swear to God, I'm going to punch someone in the face who's walking behind a person's computer." So that's a threat of physical violence, which really doesn't happen. We have plenty of people who get upset about something. If there's something wrong with circulation policy, they might not like that they're limited. They can't have a study room or whatever. People can get angry, but the threat of violence was relatively disturbing. It was reported to me right away. We called the police. I asked the person to leave, which they did. And then I called the police and they said that this person was known to them and just wanted to get it on record. But, my authority is to ban someone for the day, right? So if I want to ban someone further, it has to come to all of you. I invited them here tonight to have their say. I wanted to bring all of this in case they wanted to come up and speak publicly about this. So I have an email address that I believe is the correct email address. I don't know of an address, but so my request is to have this person banned from the building and property for 6 months.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
How does this get enforced, Jeff?
Yeah, so basically, once there's an official ban from the trustees, that allows us to tell this person to leave, and if they don't leave, it's trespassing, and we call the police. And they're escorting us.
How do we memorialize it? I mean, obviously, there's a vote in front of the board.
Right.
How to,
So we have a place where we put critical issues like this for the staff, and at this point, with both these incidents that I've reported here and then a number of other incidences that may not have come up to the level of getting an incident report, that most of the staff are already aware of this person already. So, getting that word out, that'll be my job when I leave here, make sure the staff is aware, and I'll call police and make sure that they know that this person's not allowed on the property for 6 months.
And we talked about this last time, but because people read minutes
Yeah,
one at a time, just, there is precedent for this, right? Other libraries, this happens, unfortunately.
it happens here. It just doesn't happen that often, and it's not one of the things that I relish doing. Most people, if there's a misstep of the behavior, almost always when I ask them to leave for the day, I say, you know what, today's not your day. Time to go. Come back. Try tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. That is usually the end of it. And this is just not that. And it is the most compelling part of this is the fact that we have a verbal threat of violence that takes this to just an absolutely different level. We're not talking about patron conduct policy, someone's being verbally abusive. This moves it into a different level of seriousness, and that's why we're here tonight.
I do wonder if perhaps you should also ask the police to keep an eye on the library building for the first few weeks after hours, since I
Yep.
experienced a similar incident and there was building vandalism.
Yeah.
So I know that if you identify something that they can swing by every so often and make sure.
I will.
and then I presume on day 181 that this person is welcome to walk into the library again.
They are.
barring any other
Right.
incidents.
Right, and we've had other people in that exact situation who were then able to come back and use the library in a way that was acceptable.
And I was just curious, the 6-month time period, is that a standard amount of time? Did you choose that?
It's,
for a reason?
it's sort of my standard amount of time. The requirement is that any banning of a patron has to be time limited. It cannot be an indefinite. Even if my initial reaction is to want to make it indefinite. That's not legal. So we have to make a time limited ban. And given the seriousness of this and given what we have done in the past with precedents that of folks that we've banned in the past, 6 months is our standard for things of a serious nature. You know, this isn't teen exuberance and rambunctiousness. That's not what we're talking about. So.
And this falls under the patron conduct policy.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
a combination of policies, but I'm guessing primarily the patron conduct policy.
Yeah, yes, primarily the patron conduct policy.
And there is an explicit portion of that that we can point to that gives the authority. There is something explicit in policy that we can point to that offers the authority for this.
So you don't need the board implicitly has the authority to ban people from the library if they violate the policy.
Well, I agree that we want to, I don't know. We definitely want considerate and respectful use of public library space. So, so we'll put it to a vote. I'll need a motion first. Gail, second,
I'll second.
Sarah. So all those in favor of banning this patron for 6 months, raise your hands. Opposed? Motion carries. Rental or room rental agreement.
Okay, this is our first facilities use contract, and I probably know that there's an error in here. And it's mine that we still have 75 attendees here, and per our policy, the maximum attendee is 65 at all facility use contracts. So,
That answers
yeah,
the first question.
yeah, that's it. It's just a
Great.
mistype, so we'll get that fixed. So just, sorry, just leave it there. That's it. Oh, I made a mistake and I fixed it. We're all done. No, okay. So this person wants to hold a piano recital here in this room. They do not need the piano tuned because that would be an extra expense if they wanted the piano tuned. So just take the piano as it is. And the rental fee is $25 per.
I did have just a minor question. If you
Yeah.
say piano tuning is additional if desired,
Yeah.
does the library keep the piano tuned as a matter of
We do.
normal maintenance?
So, and so we've had, I mean, this is not our first piano recital. So we do regular and normal tuning. It's just that sometimes when we've had, recitals in, they would like the piano tuned specifically for the recital, which I understand.
Gotcha.
And if you want to have that, then we have our tuner, we need to bring them in. If you want to accept the piano as it is, knowing that we do have it attuned, but this room is the way it is, it's dry in the winter and the temperatures change a little bit. It's not a perfect place for the piano to be, but it does a pretty good job of holding its tune. So
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. we tune it before we do particularly before we do a piano music program for the library, we'll have it tuned.
I have a question about the liability, and I can't answer it.
Yeah.
I just wonder if we should have somebody have an umbrella policy, or I'm not conversant in insurance, but I'm wondering if asking a person as opposed to a business or a nonprofit for an additional insured is enough protection for the library. So it's a question to explore. So
Okay.
on a personal level, when I've done some renovation work, I had to provide an umbrella policy. So
Beyond the additional insured.
beyond the additional insured, and I'm just not sure, Jeff. So if it's satisfactory, I'm fine with it, but it's just something I don't want to see us. People are very litigious
Fair enough.
these days. but I don't want to stop them from using the room either.
The $25 per hour,
Yes.
does that include, that there's no extra for janitorial, right?
No,
That
it's
is-
like, then they say in there that they're gonna pick up,
Yeah.
they're gonna pick up and they're gonna leave it. If it was there, we do have a charge in there if it's extra. If things left a mess, I mean, that's true of any group that uses the library already, we can charge for that. And, but this, we're not expecting that, and it talked about with the individual, if they would leave it as they found it.
That was a good point, though. I guess I didn't catch that before. I thought it was $25 to rent the room. It's $25 per hour.
And that's, right, we arrived at that price by taking the sort of average, wage of a part-time maintenance staff person. So
And,
kind of the janitorial is, go ahead.
no, go ahead. So if it's 1.5 or 2.5, are we
Yep.
going to prorate it?
Yep.
Okay.
For partial hour, yeah.
Okay, so, are there any other comments or questions? So we'll take a vote to, what are we doing? Accepting this contract?
Or authorize me to sign the contract.
Authorizing Jeff to sign.
Sorry, just a process question. So every time, am I correct that every time one of these agreements comes up, you will bring it to us
That's correct.
and we will authorize you to sign it?
Yeah, yeah. But this is our, since this
This
is
is our
one of the new era,
Yeah.
we're taking a little bit more time to talk it through. I'm imagining someday this might just become an automatic thing, or that we don't have too many questions about if it's kind of a normal, but it's just a good check. The more unusual, this is not an unusual use of the room. It is it's not a not-for-profit use of the room, but it's not a normal, it's a normal-ish use of the room. The more outside the use, our regular use, the more the board might want to consider that. So,
Okay, so I'll take a motion to authorize Jeff to accept the contract.
So moved.
And a second? Caroline, all those in favor, raise your hands. Opposed? Motion carries. Election logistics.
Right, stop the share. I don't have anything to show there. So we met with our representatives from the district who, this is our Thursday referendum vote is hosted by school district election, but we're hosting it here in the library. So the school district staff will be here on Thursday. We met with them last week and walked through the logistics of what that day might look like. The voting machines will be dropped off here this week. They'll be sequestered and locked up until the day of when they'll be brought out, and it will all happen right in this room. So everything will be cleared out. So everything's going to be cleared out of the hallways. Everything's going to be cleared out of these rooms, tables, even the piano. We'll make a rare travel to not in this room, and we'll go visit the studio for a couple of days. Anyway, we'll have all that in here. There isn't anything else. There's no programs going on in the library. There's nothing else going on. The hallways will be clear. We'll have folks come in they can come in the library however they come into the library like normal. But the entrance to the voting polling area will be in this less used Delaware Avenue door into the community room. Once they come in the room, that's all school district staff. So the school district has hired the election workers. They're going to be working in here along with the co-chief election inspectors and the district clerk. That will all be happening in this room. Our staff will be responsible for hallway and a little bit of parking lot heads up for folks, just to try to give people a little bit of direction if they get lost or get headed the wrong way in the driveway. And then we'll direct people in here. We'll have folks line up in the hallway. If the line goes longer than that, because it looks to be cold on Thursday, they'll clear. We'll line them up and they'll send them right on into the library. So no one will be standing out in the.
So if you come in the main entrance, you'll have to
Yep.
walk around.
Correct. Walk around the beautiful mural and all the way down the other hallway and then into that door, which is it's a door that most people don't actually use all that much, but that you'll have signs. This door right here, we'll have signs directing folks there, and I'll be out in the hallway. We'll have staff here all day long directing them out. The folks from the IT department will be guiding people or offering any technical assistance for the exit poll, which we will have set up in this room. They think there'll be enough room. We talked through the floor plan here. We'll have 3 stations set up for electronic exit polls and paper for folks who like paper. And then as far as all of you are concerned, I'm imagining the busiest time will be from 5 to 9. We don't have much of a role in this room, but if you guys want to come on by and help me with a little hallway logistics, I'm never going to say no to that. But there's no electioneering within 100 feet because we were previously a polling place for the county. We know where we hang our signs. We'll have all that out there. So we're as ready, I think, as we can be. I've already alerted the Bethlehem town supervisor and the chief of police that we'll be holding this event today, and there'll be extra people in and out all day of the library parking lot. So
The school district is gonna do the exit poll?
no, the exit poll is us. So we're running the exit
So
poll.
we're in the room to do the exit poll?
Correct, but it just lives here. But most of everything else that happens in this room, the sort of the vetting of the signing into the poll books and then helping people if they need help with the machines. That's not library staff. That's all school district
So it's
staff.
library staff doing the exit poll? Who's doing the exit poll?
We'll have the IT department here.
The IT, okay. I
IT
just didn't
department
know if we
here.
were supposed to do
Nope.
the exit poll.
Nope, it's
I didn't
better.
think We should.
We
either,
should.
but-
No, we talked actually with the district clerk and everybody kind of agreed. It's better to just not have trustees involved.
That's what, I agree with that. I just
Yeah.
wasn't clear.
Nope.
about it.
You want to come help me and control the hallway folks a little bit or just be here, feel free. But I'd love to have you. But as far as an official role that day, I think we have it.
Do we anticipate that we will have results on Thursday night?
We'll have some results. What we will have is unofficial results Thursday night. So if it's clear enough and the vote is outside the margin for error, like if the gap in the vote is larger than the number of write-in ballots, they'll be counting the write-in ballots, not write-in ballots. Absentee and early voting, which seem very similar, but are two different things. They'll have all that same night. And we'll post it up unofficially. It won't become official until the results are accepted by the school district board officially at their following meeting, which is the following Wednesday.
So that reminds me, are we meeting on?
We don't have to meet
We don't
because
have
it's
to.
not our election. That's the thing.
Okay.
So there was a lot of confusion, and fair enough, because we're deep into the law on this. It is not the library's election. We don't hold the election. The school district holds the election. They happen to be holding it here. They can hold it any place inside the physical confines of the school district, which this room is in. So they're going to be hosting that here, but it is the school district's election. And we're like a gracious host. So we'll be here to help with any of the logistics, power, internet, any of those things we can help with. But it's their thing. So the board officially doesn't have a role in making those results official because the board that does that is the school.
Two other things. Oh, did you
Yeah.
go?
No, go ahead.
One, just to be clear, again, for anyone who's watching, right, the polls close at 9, but if you're online or in line, depending on what part of state you're from, I'm from New York City, we say online. If you're online at 9 o'clock, you can vote, but then after that, someone will be at the end of the line
Correct.
to stop.
Yeah.
People from, just want
And
to be
again,
clear.
that's not,
It's gonna be someone.
that'll be the district's job to handle that. Correct.
The other thing I will say is out of an abundance of caution, I voted today. It was very simple. And so I would just encourage anyone who's concerned about lines or whether to just contact the school district, contact Brittany, just give her, she's one person, give her a heads up about when you would like to come to the school. It's really very simple. There are forms there, or you can print the early voting form and bring it, but it was very simple to do. I did it on my lunch break today, and now I have some relief that if anything happens, I have voted. So just wanted to make sure folks were aware of that opportunity if they're concerned about Thursday.
And I didn't get the question myself, but there was a question about some folks being automatically mailed ballots. There are people that the district clerk has on permanent absentee ballot. They're pre-vetted so absentee and early ballot, the process looks exactly the same from a individual's perspective, but absentee ballots, typically there's a reason, and that's done ahead of time. So anybody who is on Brittany's official list would have received that ballot in the mail automatically if they're on her automatic absentee ballot list, just like any school district election.
So at other meetings, you've reiterated who can vote, I think for the purpose of this meeting.
Yep,
Can you just go over it again?
absolutely. So it's residents of the Bethlehem Central School District, the library district, which actually also exists, but no one ever talks about, right? This is a piece of the earth. And it has to be exactly the same. The library district and the school district are exactly the same district. Everybody who lives in the school district, Bethlehem School District also lives in the libraries, the Bethlehem Library District. And those are the folks, if you're over 18 and you've lived here at least 30 days, then you, and are a US citizen, you are entitled to vote in the school district election. So anybody who would normally vote in a school district election can vote here at their special election that they're hosting at. But it's really, there is, I think more people know very clearly which school district they live in, but lots of people use the library either in the north part of Bethlehem. You know, a lot of our friends at like Beverwyck, we're happy to have them here, but their taxes go to the Guilderland School District and the Guilderland Library. A lot of our friends in South Bethlehem who are in the RCS School District and are therefore in the RCS Library District, their taxes and their votes go that way. So even though we're happy to have you here using the library on this particular day, where you live matters a little bit more. And I hope that's not too much of a too confusing for people. But you know, I understand that understanding what library district you live in is not part of most people's consciousness. So the folks in the school district be happy to help people get that figured out on the day. But you're right, the more we can get that out ahead of time, maybe the more people who won't be confused or disappointed.
Right.
Because they want to vote that late, but they don't live in the taxing district.
And is it possible to, we have a sign out front, is it possible to have in big letters, vote today? On Thursday?
Sure.
I'm just wondering if that might be, I know sometimes the school will do that vote today, rather than everyone's been driving around for a week saying December 12th, December 12th. Sometimes people, you know, they just forget what day it is, and
You bet.
if you had something that said vote today,
Yes.
maybe that would be helpful.
Come on in.
The only other thing I would add is the parking lot entrance and exit.
Yeah.
In the last, actually, I think not too long ago, I saw two people driving in the wrong way.
Yep.
And I kind of wonder if we have entrance and exit signs for people that don't come here that often.
We do, but it's not a bad idea to try to, you know, any other way we can reiterate that to just cut down on confusion
Yeah.
and traffic issues is a good idea. So it's.
They basically stop traffic because they
Yeah,
blocked
right.
everything.
Yes. It's almost like all the parking lots should be bi-directional to avoid confusion. It's almost exactly like.
Alrighty, is there any other new business? No one has anything, okay. Old business. Other old business, that's how it's written.
I mean, the only thing I would add is the policy committee, you wanted us to.
Yeah, it's time because we said we were gonna quarterly review the meeting room policy, and so I have a couple things. There's the staff handbook that needs to look at. That's a major job. And you know, we were trying to get it over the hard ground easy with the vote, I think, but after that, we'll have to buckle down on some of these policy things and get back to work on those.
Okay.
So I probably won't try to ask everybody to do that before the holidays, unless you really want me to. I'm here.
Okay.
Well, just to kind of dovetail and coattail, follow that. January 13th, so that gives us 2 weeks into the new year. And it is the right time to look at the meeting policy.
Yeah.
If we will, the committee will certainly look at it. If anyone else has comments on it that you'd like to give before, then that would be helpful.
Yeah, you know, I think I will, we'll solicit comments from the public too. So I have a report for you from the staff whose job it is to implement this now that we have almost 6 months of time administering the policy. So they have a little bit more of a complete picture than when they gave the first quarterly report. So we'll have that to consider. And also if we solicit some input from the public, we can do that as well.
Alrighty, future business. Anyone? I like that idea about having office hours, maybe once a month. So what committee would that be under?
I don't know.
Could just have like a sign up or.
I don't know.
You just
It
do
would
it.
end
we
up
just do
being,
it? Can't we just do
being
it?
You
the
can.
trustee,
You
yeah.
can just do it.
Like maybe, yeah, either like a weekend. I mean, like, obviously, like, I wouldn't be able to do weekdays generally, but like a weekend morning, that was,
I think it'd be best if we moved it around a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
like some, you know, maybe one month we do it in a weekend, the next month you come during a story time. Maybe, I mean, we never did any in the afternoon. I don't know that that was our busiest time, but you might catch a totally different group of folks.
we're gonna need something more official.
Yes,
The trustees are in.
I mean, I really want the move in
No, you
the
want the-
worst way, 5 cents,
Peanuts?
Yes, yeah.
We should do that.
worst way.
Along
We
with
just use
the
the,
Snoopy.
we just use the puppet stage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like that, but I thought that actually that space, while not perfect, worked out decently, having an opportunity to have chairs for people to sit down, because some people want to, you know, look at the boards and talk to you standing up is a little bit more dynamic. Other people wanted a little bit more of a sit down. Well,
Yeah.
come on into the office, we'll have a seat. So,
We should have food.
okay,
Food brings people.
yes, you should.
I was wondering if sometime this year the board could do some talking about the relationship between the board and the Friends of the Library. Some libraries have a regular representative at the board meetings, not a random one. Sometimes on a monthly or a quarterly basis, the president of the Friends comes to a board meeting. The Friends group is our best resource for board members. And I think if we could put that, it's not urgent, so whenever, but if we could put that on our agenda for the coming year, it might be a good discussion.
Have you heard that they want to be involved in that fashion? I wouldn't want to pressure them to do more work than they already do.
I have not. This is just me speaking from seeing what happens in other institutions, not just libraries, you know, where people have these external organizations. And from, it would be nice to be able to improve the conversation and to help each other, you know, a little bit.
Sure.
So.
Well, we certainly can extend the invitation.
I think also we need to think about what kind of relationship we would like with them, as well as being.
Kind of like our relationship. I don't know. Is there something in particular that you're trying to hone in on, or? Well, we'll reach out to them and we'll ask. them.
I can write it up and think about it a little bit more, but I feel like the communication over the past months since I've been on the board is quite minimal. And it would be good to enrich that communication somehow so that we're working. We don't just see them for the book sale, but that we're working more in concert with them. But as I said, it's not urgent. It's just like, you know, something to think about.
Well, their annual meeting is on Monday, December 16th, right after the vote. And that's their annual meeting. That's where they name their officers. So
That's in here.
it'll be next door in the boardroom.
Have board members traditionally, have you ever had a board member that was also a member of the Friends?
I think lots of board members have been members of the Friends. I don't think we've had,
Oh, you are?
yeah.
Okay. Oh,
I don't
all
think
right,
we've
great.
had board members as Friends board members, if that makes any
Right,
sense.
right. I know
So
what
the
you're
board
saying,
tends
yeah.
to be not board trustees, so I don't think there's anything specifically. Yeah, preventing that, but the liaisons have been, so it's me and Christine. Tend to be, we go to the meetings, so, I mean, I think the more the merrier, so.
They don't, when I looked on the website, they don't have meeting minutes on the website, do they?
This is all coming, so like, they're as an, or as a group, so
They
they're-
talked about it at
they're
the,
building their capacity. So we've got this. So it used to be the library hosted their stuff. And now they have their own website and they have their own Facebook page and they're operating. It's becoming a more sophisticated operation as, you know, both they're raising money and they're also getting more board members. So they have to get more people involved. You know, they're like membership, like they're looking for people who want to be involved with Friends that way, like right now. So I think all that's coming.
Okay, good. When I was on the library webpage and clicked on the Friends.
Yeah.
It went to pretty much a dead page. I clicked on contact and
Correct.
there was nothing there, just as an FYI.
Okay, Carolyn.
Am I correct that there has to be some, not a complete firewall, but some firewall between the two organizations? That doesn't mean that we can't communicate with them and can't have
Correct.
a mutual relationship with them, but
But
there has to be, we cannot direct them
Sure.
to do anything.
almost exactly correct.
Okay.
They are
Help me get to
separate, yeah,
exact.
they are a separate 501c3 nonprofit organization with their own board. That is not the library's board. They have their own board of directors. They are their own organization. The tie is that in the purpose of their existence is to raise money for library purposes, right? So it's like that's directed in that way, but it's not, the board of the library doesn't tell them how to spend that money. We ask, we make requests. That usually comes in the form of, most of the money that comes from the Friends gets used to support programs and Little Sunday Music and Evenings on the Green and that sort of thing.
It's really the same purpose interpreted by different boards.
Correct.
I wouldn't say there's a firewall, because that implies like something more serious.
Yes,
like that,
yes.
like more
Yeah.
serious separate, but it should be a cooperative relationship
Yes.
where, the Friends get to do the things that they like to do, but also it should be things that the library will
Correct.
need.
And so they've had some serious debate about this in the past, way in the deep past. The Friends had a scholarship for a Bethlehem Central School District student. That's not really the library purpose, right? So it makes sense. It's a great thing. I was happy. It'll feel good. But when they talked that over throughout the years, and they're like, response rates were pretty low. And then it just isn't, it's not a library purpose. School, the school booster clubs, and there's just all stuff that happens at the school that's for that. The Friends of the Library are to raise money for the library. That's what they do.
And at one time, there was an annual event. Not a gala, but there was like a Friends of the Library dinner or something along those lines.
They've tried, so there's thoughts about this, like there have been, and not anything consistent. That in my time here, that has just not been a thing. They had a great, there was there was an event in the park, there was a community day in the park, people still talk about that. They've tried lots of different ways for fundraising. They've settled into the bus trips as the sort of drumbeat in the background, and then the book sale, as those are their major fundraisers. And I think getting them to the point, we didn't get them. They got themselves to the point where they are able to host 2 book sales a year, those book sale fundraisers. That's been a hill that they needed to climb, and I think they've done a really good job of it. But it takes a lot of people, and that just adding that capacity in order to do that event has been a pretty big lift. So I don't know. I would never say never, to someone.
I will say this vote, I think, has led to a lot of interest in the Friends groups and an increased awareness. So anyone who asks me, I direct them to the Friends. And so I have a feeling that sort of an unintended consequence or a positive result of this vote is that it may actually have led more people to be, to want to be involved with the Friends and find out how they can support the library. So hopefully they will see a little increase in membership and engagement.
Well, I just think people even understanding what their role is. I get people come up and they say, "Oh, thank you so much, Jeff, for running this bus trip to New York City." And I'm like, you're welcome, but that's not me. That's the Friends, right? So the Friends are running that. And so it's just even an awareness of their existence, right? I think is important. So.
All right. Okay, thanks, Gail, for bringing that up. All right, so the next item is public participation. I don't think we have any. Okay. So then just before we adjourn, we just want to remind the public that we have a vote on the proposed building project on December 12th. It'll be here at the library in the community room, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
You got it.
All right, so I'll take a vote to adjourn the meeting. Or, I'm sorry, a motion and a second. And Gail, did you second?
I did.
All right, all those in favor, raise your hands. All those opposed, meeting adjourned. The next meeting is January 13th at 6 p.m.